Hey YouTube, never-ending student here. Actually, let me adjust this. Okay. So, what I have for you today is a Hewlett-Packard era 53132A frequency counter. And this is one of the items I got from the most recent auction I was at. It was really sweet because it was in the same city I was in. It was for a General Dynamics Land Systems Research and Development Facility. They did, what is it? UAS? I forget. Or UGV? Unmanned Ground Vehicle? Yeah, that would be it. UGV, not UAS. So, there was a lot of cool stuff. I got some really interesting prototype optical stuff, like turret cameras, where it had like a turret build with 8 offset cameras coming out of it. But that's more of the oddball stuff. I also got a lot of test and measure equipment because that's my bread and butter for what I process and put up for sale, and also what I just like to acquire and get better stuff, ever better stuff to integrate into the lab. Anyway, this was one of the batch. Here, we'll show you some of this. Some of the other stuff. Got some microscopes. That's a 1 gigahertz tech scope. Some no-name power supplies. A TDS 3054B and a DPO 4054. These are both 500 meg scopes. I was surprised. This one's like a couple grand, like eBay prices. So that was a very nice get. And then there's some military radio stuff and more power supplies. But anyway, this was something I wanted to put up for sale. Since I recently got into frequency counters, like commonly sold frequency counters, and the 53131 and 53132, and then to a lesser amount the 81. Those are commonly available, commonly moving items on eBay. Here, we'll put you back here. Take you off handheld shaky cam. So this it was in the pile of scopes. A funny story. I had a contract job after. Well, I was fitting it in the same day I did the auction pickup. I dropped everything off at home, took a quick shower, got her dressed again, and then went out for a contract job to replace a camera on this security trailer that I service. And when I called in to close out the job, one of the guys I tend to enjoy talking shop with answered, and we got to talking about our days. I told him about the General Dynamics auction, and it just so happened he was in the market for a scope. He has his own company, or rather he has his own company. He's in the process of developing a product line. I don't want to get into that in details without permission from him, because that would be impolite. But it was just a random, oh, okay, I made the sale for one of my scopes literally hours after I picked everything up. That was fast. So we went over details. I didn't want to sell it right away. I wanted to make sure, clean it, test it. Got all that done, and out the door it went a couple days later. So this was one of the next things up. So the 32 is the nicest version. The lowest version is the 81A, then the 31A, and then the 32A is the highest capability of this series of instruments before they transition to like the next generation of frequency counters by Agilent, and then later Keysight. Although I'm not sure if Keysight developed it, more like they bought out a different company. But anyway, What I'm doing right now, I cleaned it. I took it apart, washed the shell. I have the bumpers in my sink, washed them with soap and water. Got the dust out of the fan. Gave an eyeball over everything to make sure nothing was obviously wrong. It was already working properly. But it didn't have any timebase installed. And the default, just, silicon based, I don't know what it is. The default timebase in all of these is kind of crap. You don't want to use it. You either want to use an external reference, or you want to use at least, from my point of view, the high stability timebase, or if you can get a hold of it, the ultra high stability. So I had, over the past month, been watching eBay for this series of frequency counters, and I picked up an 81A that wouldn't turn on. I think I got it for $50. And it had, well, it might have been more, but I think it was about $50, maybe 50 plus shipping. But it had the high stability ovenized oscillator in it. So even if it's just that, that's good for me. So I just took that apart. Yeah. And there we go. I pulled the oscillator from that and installed it here. And now I'm getting to the actual point of the video, which is calibrating the timebase. There's already videos out there for that, but I'm just putting my spin on it, I guess. I felt I had some little thing to contribute. So what you're looking at on the scope is a way to visualize the syncing of your timebase. Up there is my El Cheapo GPSDO, and then right there, something that arrived yesterday, I think. It's a distribution amplifier, also from AliExpress. It seems to work just fine. It gives me 10 megahertz out. Well, that gives me 10 megahertz, and then this, distributes. So the manual says, hey, warm it up for 24 hours. Really? I have better things to do than sit with one of my outlets or even bench space occupied for 24 hours, and I'm impatient. So, if you don't want to wait 24 hours, but you don't want to do a bad job of it, what do? How do you know when it's warmed up? Well, I've already calibrated it once, and you can see, so right here we have all 9s megahertz, and then 0.9214. So currently it's off by 80 millihertz, but we really want, the best result possible. And you can see it's not perfect, and we want as close to perfect as possible. Ideally, those would be locked, like phase locked, or if it was moving, it would be moving so slowly as to just be creeping barely perceptibly. So I calibrated it once. It was locked, and then it gradually, as it continued to warm up and things continued to, shift in terms of characteristics as thermals changed, I went slightly off. So I've been keeping an eye on that and waiting to see if it looked like it was stabilizing in terms of the difference between the two frequencies. And I think we're there. So what we're going to do is power this off. Then you go scale offset, hold it in, power on, and this will get you to the calibration menu. Currently we are cal unsecure. Press scale offset. You're on cal offset question mark, and then you use the arrow keys. We want to calibrate the time base. There. So we'll press enter. It's going to ask us supply 10 megahertz. Oh, and what you're looking at is 10 megahertz out from the GPSDO, and then 10 megahertz out from the 10 megahertz out back here. So we're going to press enter, and we're going to watch as it recalibrates. It's starting off with gross calibration. It's getting closer to locking in the frequency and continuing calibration procedure. And you'll basically see it change. It might reset a couple times, like there it went faster again, so it increased the frequency offset. And then after maybe a minute or so, we should get, if not phase lock, then frequency off or frequency lock. You should see the phase and the delay settle to an unchanging amount. And we're getting close. There we go. It might continue. Yep, it's continuing. Usually you'll see it appear to lock frequency correctly once, and then it will shift a little bit more and readjust. I'm not sure what the code is for the calibration procedure in there. I also don't know if it's going to try to phase lock the two frequencies. Like if it's going to try to adjust until they're, peak touching peak. I don't think it did last time, but human memory is fallible, and mine more so when I'm sleep disrupted. So what we'll do after this, after it gives complete and we reset it, is then we'll leave it on and keep watching this, go about our day or night, and give a glance at this after 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And if it starts shifting, like we can just keep an eye on what that delay is. There, time-based calibration pass. And we have a little bit of flicker, like the R to R delay is between 12.4 and 13.4 nanoseconds. It looks like it's shifting a teeny bit. And it's okay for them to not be perfectly synchronous. Like, if it took minutes for those two peaks to separate by 180 degrees, that's perfectly fine for the standards in here. So we'll press enter. We'll go ahead and power cycle. Could also reset, but whatever. And it should be nearly dead on 10 megahertz. Yep. And we have a little bit of flicker. So let's go ahead and go to gate. Oh yeah, there we go. I just had to press it twice. And we'll set the gate time to 1 second instead of 1/10 of a second. That'll give us a much more accurate and stabilized reading. And now we can see that we're right at 10 megahertz. Plus or minus around sub 1 millihertz. Because right here is 1 hertz, and then here is 1 millihertz. So it has a bit of a jitter at the 100 microhertz range. Now, this is what you want to watch for. If the jitter is going to continue, that's pretty normal unless you have a very, high quality sine wave source, which I don't. That's an El Cheapo GPSDO. So it does have to keep adjusting itself a bit. But what do you want to watch for to determine, have I let it warm up enough for full calibration? And if I come back and this has continued to trend downward, then okay, it's still warming up. Like, this is slower than it was before, but we see that even though it jitters up and while it goes back down, it was at 999, now it's at 998. We saw it at 80, so we might see it touch 7, like 997. Maybe not yet. I'm not going to make you watch forever. But yeah, that is a good way to find out, has my ovenized oscillator or my ovenized time base fully warmed up. See, it hasn't. It's now touched 7. So it is trending down at a slow, very slow, but perceptible degree. So then you just keep an eye on it and you repeat the procedure. Come back after, go do other stuff, come back half an hour later, check on it, redo the time-base cal, and then see if it jitters and stays on average at the same amount, or if its jitter is trending in one direction. And if it's trending in a direction, it needs to stabilize more. And that's about it. That or something's wrong, but given this has been on for under an hour, it's probably still temperature stabilizing. All right, that's what I wanted to share. Have a good day.